The relationship between the emotions and reason has been debated since the time of the ancient Greeks. Aristotle believed that there was a mutual relationship between judgment and emotions, and made the latter the basis of his theory of morality. During the Enlightenment in the 18th century, the philosopher David Hume went as far as to state that reason was passion's slave. During the Romantic period in the 19th century, this symbiotic viewpoint was rejected and replaced by the idea that the intellect and emotions were fundamentally in conflict with each other, constantly struggling for control of the self and its destiny. However, fundamental research over the last 20 years or so has established that intelligent behaviour is only possible with both emotional and rational systems intact. A real-life Vulcan Dr. Spock would face many of the difficulties in functioning seen in people with autistic spectrum disorder. The importance of emotions and the specific brain regions responsible for them emerged from the study of unfortunate brain damaged patients, such as Phineas Gage in the 19th century. Gage suffered a penetrating head injury in 1848. Against expectations, he survived. Following this injury, Gage's ability to plan and structure his life deteriorated markedly. A number of modern studies have made similar findings with people having defects in the late stages of reasoning, where the weighting and selection of different decisions are random and without planning, making normal social functioning impossible. Emotions form the communication pathway from the unconscious to the conscious mind and are responsible for all human motivation. The importance of emotions in automatic thinking is well captured in the concept of the affect heuristic, where emotional tags, positive or negative, are generated by a situation and promote a rapid judgment or decision in the same way as the availability or representativeness heuristic, and with the same advantages and potential dangers. Beyond these generic effects, the individual emotions appear to display specific features that have relevance for the work environment. Anger, for example, inhibits analytic thinking and leads people to attribute blame to other individuals rather than the situation and circumstances that surround negative outcomes. On the other hand, requiring a person to explain and account for their feelings reduces this blame game and allows more complex analytic reasoning. Positive emotions promote long-lasting, durable increases in personal resources, physical, social and intellectual, building resilience and the ability to cope with stress. People who are experiencing positive emotions appear more capable of stepping back from their current problems and to consider them from multiple angles, which is another way of describing aspects of analytic system thinking. The personal benefits are therefore translated into tangible, professional and organisational rewards. The interaction between emotion and cognition is not always beneficial, and any inappropriate or high level of emotion, particularly negative emotion, can interfere with attention, memory and logical reasoning. Emotions are also a cause of stress. Chronic stress can cause significant ill health and even cell death in the hippocampus region of the brain, leading to memory loss. The significant morbidity associated with clinical depression and anxiety states is well known. We are all familiar with the situations where negative emotions interfere with performance. Fear of exams is one. This is referred to by psychologists as test anxiety. Many research studies have been done to compare students' reported anxiety with their performance at tests. In general, they have found that more anxiety leads to poorer performance. As so often, there are debates about confounding factors. For example, students who are well prepared for exams and those with high IQ are less prone to test anxiety. But even when these factors are controlled for, a small negative effect of anxiety on performance remains. Aside from research, we all know what fear of exams is like and have a pretty good idea of how it affects our own performance. Another familiar example is stage fright. The 1918 pandemic of Spanish flu was an international disaster. It raged for 3 years, killing 3 to 5% of the world's population, 50 to 100 million people, mostly previously fit young adults. It killed 4 times as many people as World War I. In 1918, reporting in countries involved in World War I was limited because of fear of damaging morale. Spain was neutral and the epidemic was reported freely, given the false impression that Spain was particularly badly hit and giving us the term Spanish flu. The response of public health officials was poor. They had limited understanding of how to organise and coordinate international population level action. But also, despite rising rates of infection and death, there was widespread prevarication and denial amongst most public health departments and, with a few exceptions, fatal inertia that led to large-scale mortality. It's easy to imagine many clinical scenarios whereby acutely stressful situations preclude an optimal outcome.